Good morning. Good morning. Lovely to have you joining me. Nice to see you all here. Thank you very much. I'm just reading your messages, what you're saying. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what on earth's going on out there? So, what's going on in here? Well, I thought we'd have a fancy fold. If you've been with us since like forever, on Fridays during lockdown, we had Fancy Fold Friday. And I haven't done very many fancy folds since, not least for the fact I think we'd done all fancy folds up to date by then. However, at my class that I did yesterday, we did a fancy fold amongst other cards. And I thought, you know what, that is too good to keep to ourselves. It's not one of my inventions by any means. And I don't even know what they call it. One of our ladies said that it might have been called a reversed gatefold. But hey, I don't really know. But the nice thing about it is that it folds completely flat and then fits into an A5 envelope, but it also folds together and fits into an A6 envelope. So win-win. So I thought I'd use some of the papers that we were using yesterday, but I'm going to do it in a slightly different way. So the papers that we were using yesterday were the Paper Boutique Meadow Charm selection. So everybody had these gorgeous colours, which obviously then, hold on, just show you them all in their beauty. And they then coincide with the papers from the paper kit. So that's what I like about the paper boutique stuff, is you just don't have to think really. If you get the card pack and you get the paper pack, you're good to go. So the way that we did it yesterday was we also used from the paper kit. Let me just show you, hold on a second. These. Now, I'm not going to use these today, but these come with the paper kit. So there was either the 4 circles or the 4 squares. But however, we're not using those today, but we are going to be using the papers because I had some left over and they're just too good to not be used. So they're a beautiful, called Meadow Charm. Beautiful selection, obviously with sort of meadow type flowers, but a couple that are plainer in as much as that's actually, you probably can't see that, little tiny dots. And then there's some stripes there as well. Just about see that. So I'm going to take some stripes and I'm going to take that one as well. Oops. Because I want to use 2 pieces like that. And I'm going to use that deep purple one because I just love that. So that's my selection, but you can see that you had a lovely choice there. So that's my selection that I'm going to use. I'm also going to be using the 4-inch layering dies, the circle ones. I've got my Michaelmas daisies and my centres because I wanted to use some of those. And I think that's about it in terms of what we need. So let's put some of it to one side. Oh, no, it isn't. I'm going to use this as well, which is the Breezy Sentiments, because I haven't used those. I'm going to use it with love, make it into a sort of Valentine's Day card. Sort of. Oh, it's all falling apart. So let us make the card first and the decoration part afterwards. So I've chosen, first of all, a piece of 300 GSM card, and I found that this was by far a crucial point, that we needed to have a really strong piece of card. So the most other card that I've got is sort of like a 240. This one's 300 and will therefore really stand up well. So I'm going to cut that at 15 centimetres. So along the long edge, cutting it at 15 centimetres. It means that I've almost got a piece left over, if you see what I mean, because it's just, this one will be then 14.8 centimetres or something like that, 14.7, just tinier amount. But I like to work in even amounts if I can, especially if I'm trying to explain to everybody how to do it in the easiest possible manner. So that's my cutting of that piece. We'll cut out our other pieces of card very shortly. I'm going to bring in whatchamacallit in, scoring board in, and it's a centimetre one. Obviously, if you're working in inches, it's a bit different, but hey ho. So along my card here, I'm going to take my card, and along the long edge, I'm going to score at 5 centimetres, at 7.5 centimetres, at 13.5 centimetres, and at 16 centimetres. Okay, sure you can't see that whatsoever, but believe me, it is. So it's at 5, 7.5, 13.5, and 16. So that's all that bit done. Now, depending on how well you can see it, I can see it quite well. I'm not going to actually fold mine at this stage, but you may want to. But I can see it. You probably can't see it from the cameras here, but I can see this quite well where all the score lines are. So I'm going to put my panels of decoration on before I start folding it, but you could do it either way, whichever you fancy. So for my panels, I'm going to take, first of all, a piece of coloured card. That is this. And I'm going to cut along this long line at 14.5 centimetres. Okay. So that just gives me a spare piece, 14.5 centimetres. It kind of like makes it the most economical way to use the paper. Then turning it around. So all of my lengths are 14.5. And I'm first of all going to cut one piece at 9 centimetres. But then I'm going to cut that piece in half at 4.5 centimetres. Okay. So I've then got two pieces that are 4.5 by 14.5. Pop that to one side. Then I'm going to take my next piece and I'm going to cut it at, excuse me, 5.5 centimetres. Okay, so again, the length stays the same at 14.5, but this one's going to be at 5.5. And then I'm going to cut one more piece that is 4 centimetres long. That piece I won't need. And that piece I'm cutting in half again at 2 centimetres. Just trying to straighten that up. So I've now cut all of my panels. Now the card that comes with this kit is only 200 GSM, so it's not your thick card at all. It certainly wouldn't be ideal at all for making a base card, but it's perfect for making these layers, which I think looks so lovely with it all. So that is our selection there. We have two pieces which are 4.5 by 14, one piece which is 5.5 by 14.5. I should have said 14.5, sorry. 4.5 by 14.5. One piece which is 5.5 by 14.5, and two pieces which are 2 centimetres by, again, 14.5. So pop them to one side. Now, then I'm going to bring in my patterned papers, and they are going to be cut. I could cut them all from the same, but I'm not going to do that today. So I'm going to cut it, first of all, again, in one length. So I need up to 14 centimetres. Put that to one side. And from this piece, I'm going to cut it, first of all, at 8 centimetres. And then that piece in half. So we've got 4 centimetres. Two of those. Then I'm going to cut, excuse me, another piece which is 3 centimetres across. And cut that in half. So I've got two pieces which are 1.5 centimetres. Straighten that one up. And then for my final piece, I'm not going to cut it from this piece. I could do, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use it from my stripes. And I'm going to cut it this way just to be a bit more frugal. So I'm going to cut 5 centimetres here first. And then trim that down to 14. Okay. So just going to bring in, because I did do this for the ladies yesterday, I'm just going to bring in that piece of paper there, which would be nice if you could see it, really, wouldn't it? Oh dear, oh dear. Let's bring that in. Maybe you see it a bit better. That's a bit better, isn't it? So we have got our coloured card. So coloured card, and we have got 2 pieces, 4.5 by 14.5 here, 2 pieces, 2 centimetres by 14.5, and 1 piece 5.5 by 14.5. Then we did coloured paper, patterned paper, which I've swapped around a little bit because I've brought in a second piece. But we've got 2 pieces which are 4 by 14, 2 pieces which are 1.5 by 14, and 1 piece which is 5 by 14. Okay, so that's all the pieces put together. Now, let us then actually put them together. Stay. So I'm going to take all these pieces and I'm going to use my new non-clog fine tipped glue bottles. So these are the ones from, what goes on there? These are the ones from Craft Artist, which I'm pleased to say have been redesigned, and they're now quite squeezy compared to the ones that they had before, which I have to say were rock hard. So it comes in 2 bottles like this, and it's got this very fine pin applicator here, and then a pin in the lid. And the idea is that you then pop that pin into the top there and then screw it up, which is quite important to do, to enable you to have the 2, so that it doesn't leak and hopefully non-clog. I have found that this was a really good method in terms of this bit, but I also have to say, as you probably know if you've been watching me for a while with my silly thumbs, it was difficult because this was so flipping rock hard. So these, I'm pleased to say, are nice and squodgy. I know you can't see squodge, but they are squodgy. Okay, so that's a good thing. So let's pop some glue onto there. So because of my hand, I'm going to hold it like that. Okay, let's bring this out again a bit. I'm going to hold it like that, which I find is more comfortable for me. So I'm just going to, and obviously when it's really as fine as this, it's going to be perfect for sentiments and things like that as well. So hopefully that they should all fit where they go, with a little border all the way round. Oops. I mean, obviously you could make up any of your patterned paper like this. You literally need half a sheet of the coloured card, as thin as possible. It really needs to be thin. So about the 200 mark. Half an A4 sheet, I should have been saying. Half a sheet of coloured paper, or a little bit extra if you wanted to do it in such a way like I have done, where I've got 2 different colours, and literally half a sheet of your white card. So I am going to be using a little bit more because of the embellishments that I'm going to be choosing. But in order for your card base, this basically is it, which is good. Okay. So there's all our pieces together. Now let's bring in our card base again. Well, we would have knew where it was. Yeah. So here we go. So when you've got it in front of you, you can see that this piece will go in the centre. We've then got our 2 bases here and our 2 pieces here. Okay, so that's how that's going to go. So let's pop that all together as well. So, and again, when you can see this in real, you can see you've got your creased mark there. So you can just add that as you go with that little border all the way round. Now this card, as I said, so far it's still completely flat, but the magic will happen in just a minute when I actually then crease my folder. Oh, by the way, so the glue that I've put in there is the Craft Artist glue. So I did add a little bit of water to it to thin it down, because as it is such a fine nozzle, it needs to come through quite easily. So just added a little bit of water to it, just to water that down. And then finally our other piece. So you can see it's really pretty. Love this paper. That's why we chose to do it yesterday, because it was such a pretty paper and lovely colours. And as I said, colours you don't even have to think about, because they're already mixed and matched for you. So you don't have to think, have I got the right colour card and everything. Quite important when you've got these to make sure that you do that up rather than leave it like I am so want to do. You know what I'm like. So now let us fold these pieces. So I'm first of all going to fold that piece like that. So I'm folding it backwards, and again on that side as well, folding that one backwards, and then we're folding this one forwards. And because I've got very thick card, I do like to sort of do a little bit of backwards and forwards movement with it all. So I'm going to then just do them the other way around. So I just push that now. Just breaking the fibres, because they are very, very, this is a very thick card, but if you don't have thick card, it will not want to stand up. So, whoops. So you can see now, hopefully, where we're going, that we've now got our card that will sit up like that. Okay. So the way that we did it yesterday was we embellished this with one of the toppers that come in the kit. But I don't want to do that today. I want to make it into a sort of Valentine's Day card, but not a lot of hearts. Not a lot of hearts. So I'm going to take my other piece of the mauve card that I had at the background, and I'm going to use first of all, I'm going to use the outer, the outer piece from here of that 4-inch layering die. Just run that into place like so. So I run that through. Hold on, just want to make sure that I've got it up there. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that another colour here. We want to cut out some flowers, but we'll have a look. Have a look. So pop that through, and then we've got our 2 other pieces from there. So that's our 2 other pieces, and I'm going to take that now. That's the other piece of the white card that we were using. So this is from the base card. It's quite thick card. So I'm using the plain circle. So that's the second one in. And then I'm also using the one with the sort of little dots as well. So I'm going to pop that through. Just do that. There we go. And then I want to make some flowers. Okay. And I want to use my Michaelmas daisies. Just take off those pieces so you can see now that I've got that lovely dotty edge. And then this really pretty one, which is the scallops. So those are going to go together. I'm going to pop that into the centre of our card. So I want some flowers. Now what I'm thinking of is flowers. I don't like to introduce too many colours, although to be fair, we've got plenty of colours going on in the background. But I'm not sure whether I want to have, probably do. Let's try that. With this other piece of cards, I'm just about going to get it in, which is why I moved it over. Some of our Michaelmas daisies there. So I'm going to try first of all with that colour. Cut some of them out. And then the centres, I will do some white ones. But you've got so many colours, you could do that. Hold on. didn't put it properly on my board. That'll teach me, won't it? Chop that bit off and do it again. That one's come out, but I missed the edge entirely. You see what I mean? Missed that edge entirely because I did it over too far. So let's just pop that through again. So, and then use those bits for the white bits. That's better, isn't it? So I'm being very frugal with the paper, but it just goes to show you can do it. Let's poke these through. So these are the Michaelmas daisies. Let's see what I'm doing here, really. I've got them all out. Nope. And that one, where are you? Oh, might help if I press in the right hole, mightn't it? So there's all my flowers. They've turned over because they're white on the other side. But that's okay. In fact, had I been very frugal, I could have done that, but I haven't. So not to worry. I was going to say that I could have used that other little bit of white card. I could have done it with the waste of this, but no. Let's use that bit. Like that. Won't put it on the edge, else it won't cut. So let's try this one. Now, bearing in mind, this is very thick card and they're very dainty flowers, but I think we'll be okay. We'll be okay. So they're very pretty, aren't they? Just check. Yeah, looks like we're okay. Take that off and just poke these out. So you can see how well these dies cut, because this is literally the thickest card that I would dare put anything through. And I was even thinking myself, oh golly, that's a bit ambitious at 300 GSM, but we'll go for it and we're okay. So that is good. And one more thing before I assemble it. Let's find my Monarch VersaFine Claire to just put the With Love sentiment on. Because we better do that, hadn't we? And I think I'm going to put my flowers down here. So I think that we can do that. Being very ambitious now, not on my stamping platform. Still, there's always the other side, is there not? Oh, golly. We said about there, didn't we? Whew, just as well. So I can pop that now straight onto there. Take that right up to the edge and know that that's not going to squodge out, which is handy. Oops, get that into position. And when it's going to go onto my card front, it's going to go like that. But do bear in mind that on these two outer pieces of the circle, I can't put any glue because of the fact that obviously that would stick to everything. So what I'm going to do is just put glue onto this bit, roughly. So just onto there. Okay. And then I can put my card, trying to get my card fairly equal if I can. And I can now at this stage flatten it to be sure that that is okay and stuck. So let us pop these flowers together. So let's bring in the right sizes for everything. So that's 2 like that, 2 like that. That isn't that. That is that, and some small ones. So we'll kind of leave the small ones, I think, and some of the crazy ones. Yeah. Oh, stay. So I'm going to do it fairly simply. Just literally going to give it a little tickle in the centre. Not going to mould it too much. And then on these little ones, a bigger tickle to make them really sit up. So I'm pressing hard because these are the 300 GSM, whereas these were just the 200. So they're a fair bit different. So a little dab of glue into the centre of each one. And then just offset. And again, just offset that one, and with this one. And then into the centre again for my centre pieces that's going to go. And before I forget, I'm just going to pop that back on. So just into the centre. Beautiful, I reckon, don't you? So I'm just going to press that in with my thing there. Lovely, lovely jubbly. Now I'm thinking I need a bit of leaf on here, don't I? Oh no, I don't really. Do I? I'm thinking I do. So let me just grab this one, I think. So this is the sunflower leaves, just happens to be the first thing that I came to. That'll do nicely. And I'm going to grab the next size down. Next size down, look at me. The next colour down. So it fits in, same papers from the same kit, fits in all with that. But I'm just going to trim a little bit off and pop some sunflowers on there. Some sunflower leaves, I should say. Because I just think that it needs a little bit of something there for me. Might not do for you. Oh, do you know what else it needs? Hold on. I know what else it needs. And for those of you who are not into them, I do apologise. But for me, it needs a butterfly. So it's going to get a butterfly. So we'll pop that butterfly on to there as well. So let's just run those through. So pop that there. I mean, you could easily get away with not doing a leaf on there, but as it's Sunday, and Sunday is special, then we have to have leaves. Let's check all these little bits out. I just love butterflies. They usually, for me, butterflies, I don't know about you, but butterflies, they used to be, for me, the answer to finish off and cover any mistakes that I'd made. You know, when you drop the glue pad on just as you're about to finish and all that sort of thing. As if. I'm sure it doesn't happen to you. But I'm afraid it does to me quite regularly. Just as you think, oh, that's lovely. Still haven't taken that through properly, have I? I just think, oh, that's beautiful. That's all finished. And then blob. I'll go on with something or drop something on it. Hopeless. Quite hopeless. So subsequently, butterflies were what was something I used an awful lot of, but I just love them. So I'm going to put my sunflower leaves, because they're kind of like little hearts as well, aren't they, actually, those leaves? Yeah. And again, because they're not that dark colour, I'll take that even down to there. Look at that. They're not that really dark mauve. It looks, I think, quite nice when you've got the next size on. But don't forget, as I say, these, although it is called card, it is more like, it's only 200 GSM, so you cannot make your card blanks or anything else like that out of it. Butterfly. Oh, hold on. It's got, butterfly. Got some little bits that don't want to come out. Come on, little bits of butterfly wing. Fly away, thank you. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue down the centre. So I've not put it onto its wings, just onto there. And of course, I'm going to get my pin flare to put the flowers into position. And here is the pin flare. Oh goodness, come out of my bag. I'm sort of thinking I might put that there. Hold on. I think it's got to go there. Just when I do it all up. You know what it's like. You think it's going to be one way, and then when you actually do it, completely different. Up. Pin flare are lovely little flowers. So we'll go one there. One there. And then this little medium one, but obviously there are loads left over which I haven't used, so could equally go. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I know I say it myself, but I do like this. I do like this. I'm tempted to put some, it's got to have some centres, hasn't it? Yeah. Let's get the, it's got to. Sorry, can't finish it off until I've put some centres in there as well. So, oh. So let's grab some of these. Just to put in the centre. So I've put a little bit of glue, because these don't have any glue with them, obviously, into the clear dewdrops. Could even have used the different coloured dewdrops here, couldn't I? Think about it afterwards. One, stay in there. Beautiful. Just had to have that little finishing touch, don't you think? Now let's clear the deck so that you can see quite what it is that I'm trying to achieve with my fancy fold. So here is my fancy fold. It's going to stand up like this. Get the flowers into position again. But it also would go into an A5 card completely flat. But it also folds up like this. And even with all that embellishment on, would still fit into, and I don't have one to hand to be able to show you. Have I? Wait a minute. I might have. Yeah. An A6 envelope. I won't put it in because obviously the glue hasn't set and everything, but if you can see, if I fold it all down, it has actually fitted into my A6 envelope as well. So you can either send it flat or there. Plenty of room to write on the back of it. All your loving messages. So that was from the Meadow Charm card kit. So that was just the papers that I used, had some left over from our lovely workshop, and thank you to those ladies that attended yesterday, but a slightly different way. So they had all the toppers and things to go with them, but you may well have your layering dies, which are an absolute go-to. So again, I've used then the 4-inch circle layer dies. I've used the sunflower leaves, I've used the Michaelmas daisy, I've used the breezy sentiments, and I've used a cheeky little butterfly from the set Dainty Butterflies. So there you go. There is your fancy fold card, not on a Friday, bit late on a Sunday, but I hope that you've enjoyed it. So let me tell you what we've got. Oh, look at Father Christmas. Cheeky little chappy. Hello, Father Christmas. Go back to bed. Thank you. So, what was I going to say? I will be post and bits and pieces going off tomorrow, and then I've got a couple of days where I can't post because we're going to a wedding. We're actually going tomorrow. I'm back on Wednesday, so I'll be back here for the new launch on Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock. So don't miss out on that. But I will be available and around, obviously not on Tuesday very much, but generally otherwise I will be around. It's just that we've got to travel to the wedding. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me, everybody, today. Don't forget, please share the love. No, share the video, which would be great if you could. And yeah, look forward to seeing you all on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Have a great weekend, and thank you very much. I intend to enjoy the wedding immensely. Take care till then, everyone. Thank you. Bye.